Good afternoon. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you today to introduce our president, the Dr. Edison O. Jackson. Dr. Jackson is a graduate of Howard University, where he received his BS degree in zoology with a minor in chemistry and a master's degree in counseling. From there, Dr. Jackson went on to Rutgers University, where he received a Doctorate of Education degree with a concentration in the philosophy, function, role, and administration of urban educational institutions. Dr. Jackson assumed the leadership position of MEC on September 1st, 1989, bringing with him experience, knowledge, and wisdom, having served as Dean of Students, Vice President for Student Affairs, and Executive Vice President and Chief Academic Officer at Essex County College in New Jersey. Before accepting this position, however, Dr. Jackson served as President and Superintendent of Compton Community College in California. I could stand here and go on for hours listing Dr. Jackson's awards, professional and national organization affiliations. I could stand here for days listing his accomplishments to this institution and community. However, what I feel is his greatest accomplishment is his ability to motivate people to use education as a means of transformation that enables them to reach their goals. Dr. Jackson is a proud husband and father of two wonderful and successful children. Dr. Edison O. Jackson is the quiet spirit and the definitive voice of this institution, with a profound belief that if the powers that be of this world say no to your hopes and your dreams, there is a greater power above us all that says yes to all of your dreams and your aspirations. It is with great pride and pleasure that I present our president, Dr. Edison O. Jackson.
To the class of 2002, 2003, 2004, and beyond. To my colleagues on the platform, it is indeed a pleasure and an honor for me to be a part of this great occasion. You have chosen wisely to pursue higher education and to use Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York as your vehicle of transformation. I always say that education has the capacity to transform an individual, a people, and a nation. And that you come to us to be transformed. If you leave here the same way that you came in, we have not done our job properly, nor have you fulfilled your part of the contract. Education is the key that opens the door to opportunity. Someone said that it is the fastest elevator to the good life. To the good life. And those of my colleagues who are on this platform have used education as a way to move into the middle class. Now, some of them might be already born into the middle class. But if they were born into the middle class, then it allows them to move even higher and to be more successful. Education then is a very wonderful and valued opportunity for us. Now, the provost talked to you about what you have to do in order to be successful. And that's very true. There's no magic to being successful, but you got to expend some energy, time, and effort if you want to be successful. You can't hang out in the lounges and expect to be successful. You can't kill your grandmother or great-grandmother 4 times as an excuse for your not being in class. And then forget that you've told that tale. I had a student years ago who came to me to explain why they were not in class. And they forgot they had told me a year ago that their grandmother had died. And then they're telling me the grandmother died again. I said, which one then? See, pursuing an education is serious business. And if you're not here to be transformed, then you are in the wrong place. Let me say this to you, that as you go through this transformation process, some of your friends might say to you that you now think you're somebody. And what you're going to have to say is, yes, I am. Why don't you join me at Medgar Evers College? Instead of looking at the soap operas or doing all the other kinds of things, come and get an education. You need to also, seems to me, I'm not going to talk about all the academic issues. I'm going to try to tell you about what I think you need to do in a very brief way to start this journey. I would also suggest that you don't allow anyone else to give you their excess baggage for you to carry it for them. You have enough baggage to carry yourself. And it is important to understand that if you have a significant other, husband, wife, I would suggest that you encourage them to partake of this experience. There's a saying that a family that prays together stays together. There's also, to me, a saying that a family that educates each other in a wonderful way also has a greater possibility of staying together. Because see, one of the things you need to understand is that for you, my sisters, your significant husband or boyfriend might become insecure. Because now you can talk about, great philosophers, new theories, new knowledge that you never thought existed. And they want to know, what are you talking about? What is that stuff you're talking about? Understand that there are challenges here, there are challenges at home or in your community. But understand that you are going somewhere. And so I want to say to you, you need to create your own reality. You need to understand that if you concentrate on creating positive images for yourself, there's a greater likelihood that you will realize those dreams, dare to dream. Words will create our reality. If you speak negative and failure, that will become your reality. Let me make that clear. If you have a young child and you always speak to them about negativity. They're not going to be anything. They're not going anywhere, and so on and so on. At some point, those seeds are planted, and they become just as you have expressed it. Words are powerful. And you need to begin to think and create a new attitude for success. Have you met some folks from time to time, you ask them how they doing, and they gotta give you a whole litany of all the bad things that's happening to them? And sometimes you raise the question, why in the world did I ask her? Because I know she's gonna say that every time. She's sounding bad, doing bad, all of that. Why? Because everything is failure. You have to create success models in your mind if you're going to succeed. And you can start with small steps. And you have started with small steps by being here today. Now, some of you might not know whether or not you can make it in college. But that's all right today. But you made the first step, and that first step is to come to Medgar Evers College and to get off of the merry-go-round. Understand that today, where you sit, where your life is a temporary state. Temporary state. The quality of the decisions that you make today, tomorrow, and tomorrow will determine whether or not your temporary state becomes your permanent state. You are in power to make a difference and to ensure success. And I believe that you have the capacity, because God has given you a wonderful instrument that's called the brain. And that is a gift. Yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. And the most important thing that you have is the present. And that is why they call it the present, because it is a gift. Because tomorrow is not promised, but today is, and what has passed is past. Create new relationships. Run with winners. There's an old saying, I can do bad by myself. Right? And people who are not going anywhere become a drag on you. They become a drag. So what you got to do in some cases, you may have to create new relationships or help those who are around you who are not about what you are about to change their attitudes so that they can fly with you, so that you can soar like an eagle. And you've never seen an eagle carrying other eagles on their back. Now, they may be flying together in unison, and the flap and the wind of one helps to raise the other. But what's happening? They're all going in the same direction. And you need to find friends who are going in the same direction. I'm not suggesting that you ought to think that you are better than someone else. I'm not suggesting that you ought to sever relationships that you have maintained over these years. What I'm suggesting is that If those relationships are not good or not positive, then you need to rethink whether or not you should continue with those relationships. College is going to be hard enough as it is without you having to come home and fight there. So look at the paradigm of becoming a successful student and what it requires, and then decide on what do I need to do in order to make a change so that I can increase the likelihood and probability that I will be successful. Have a plan. Have a plan. One writer said, if you fail to plan, you do what? You plan to fail. Or, if you don't have a destination, doesn't matter which way you go or how you get there or where you end up. One of your goals at MEDCA should be that I'm going to get a degree as quickly as is possible. And then your question becomes, then how do I do that? How do I make that happen? And being realistic in terms of your plan. And Dr. Gibson and her colleagues will talk more about this issue of planning. College is different than high school, as the provost has indicated, and it is. No one's going to call you up and say, how come you didn't come to class? We love you, but we won't baby you. You have to understand the consequences of your own decisions and also to deal with the consequences of those decisions. So thinking positive. For those of you who believe in the scripture in Proverbs 23:7, it reads, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Think positive thoughts and understand that you indeed can do great things. I want to say to you that you've come to a great place. I don't care what they say to you, you have come to a great place. If anyone asks you, what college are you attending? You say to them, Medgar Evers College. Where else? Where else? Now, if you don't pump up where you go, then who do you expect to pump? You don't expect people who don't know anything about the institution to do so, right? If you talk negative about your family, you think somebody can want to be a part of your family? God forbid. Let me get away. So this is your family. You have now become a part of a great movement, a great group of individuals called Medgar Evers College family. Now, we are not perfect. But we care about our jobs. We care about you. We have one of the finest faculty that you can find anywhere on God's earth. But some of the best credentials you can find anywhere. And we have some of the finest students that you can find in any college or university. So you are joining a wonderful group of individuals and a great legacy. Each one of you if you have not already received an email address, use it. That is our way of also, not only use it, that is our way of communicating with you, so it is important that you do so. MEDGA is on a building plan next door to this campus, this building. We expect to be within a year constructing a $62 million academic complex, as well as a roughly $30 million renovation of Carroll Street. And I always say that our time has come. And you come at the right time to join us as we make the next leap in this millennium. Understand that the mind is powerful and that you need to create new images and positive images for your life. And let me share with you what Ayanna Van Zandt has said in her speech. She was talking about relationships, as I conclude. And as a young child, she said her grandmother, whenever she went to the restroom, the bathroom, they asked her when she came out, did you flush? Did you wash your hands? And the next point was, move on with your life. There are some relationships that you're going to have to flush. I'm serious. There are some relationships you're going to have to wash your hands, and then you can move on. You might think that's harsh, but I tell you that more often than not, it is the relationship that oftentimes cause us the most difficulty. I can't overemphasize, if you got a negative situation, try to transform it and turn it into a positive situation. And when you've done all that you can, then you have to move on. To the brothers in the house, we have high expectations of our sisters who are in the house. And we expect you to treat the sisters in this house with dignity and respect. We don't want to be walking through the corridors and hearing profanity as if we were on the block. And sisters, the same for you. Because on occasion, I've heard some things coming out of my sister's mouths and I said, I don't believe it. And what I'm talking about is modeling behavior for success. You can't expect to get a job on Wall Street using that kind of language. People who use excessive, as far as I'm concerned, profanity, may have some limitation on the English language in the traditional standard way it's used. And if not, just leave that stuff alone anyhow. If you're going to be a teacher, a nurse, engineer, a doctor, what patient would want you to come in there and using all those whatever, and then you expect them to have a level of confidence in you? See, now is the time to practice so that when you graduate, that you will be different. And you start now. Otherwise, you have to do a cram course, as the provost had talked about, when you have exam, and then you don't study till the night before. And by the time you get to the class, you've forgotten everything that you studied. So, a new attitude, a new attitude, a new attitude. You will hear me say and conclude with every speech a statement that speaks to having a vision, believing in that vision, and acting on that vision. And it goes like this, and I want you to repeat after me. And at some point you will know it better than I will know it. If your mind can conceive it, and your heart believe it, then you surely can achieve it. God bless you on this journey, and you are going to be successful at Medgar Evers College. Thank you very much. Let me thank Professor Nunez and Professor Michael Fitzgerald for their announcements. They are very important, and I just want to add a footnote to what Dr. Nunez has expressed here. It is really important that we establish a policy as to the range of research styles we would select. And they have indicated what is appropriate, and I just would like for us to embrace what they've done, so that when our students leave Medgar, and they graduate from Medgar, and they go to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, and Columbia, and etc., they are familiar with that type of research style. And that's important for us, that our students will leave here feeling a sense of confidence in terms of what they've learned here in Medgar. So this is another piece towards our march towards excellence. To our provost, Kofi Momente, to members of the cabinet, the faculty, administrators, students, and staff. Welcome to the beginning of a new academic year. The first academic year of this century. It is wonderful to know that we are embarking upon, in many ways, uncharted waters as we go forward this academic year. This academic year will present many challenges, as well as opportunities for us to continue to build upon the wonderful legacy and traditions of our founders and our colleagues who preceded us here at Medgar Evers College. Were it not for their vision and their commitment and their steadfastness, perhaps Medgar would not exist today. Some will argue that we have a sacred trust to fulfill, and that we stand on sturdy shoulders of our ancestors and the work of so many colleagues who have preceded us here at Medgar Evers College. Those of you who know about the history of Medgar know that we have faced some difficult days in the past. Some thought we ought not to exist. Some thought if we did exist, that it ought to be as a community college. But thanks be to God, there were those who believed not only that we ought to exist, but that we ought to be a senior comprehensive college in the City University of New York. For those of you who don't know, there are 3 sets of colleges in the University of Maryland. There are the senior colleges, and there are the comprehensive colleges, and there are the community colleges. The comprehensive colleges are those who offer the associate, the baccalaureate, and for some, the master's and the doctorate. So MEC, New York City Tech, John Jay, and colleges that are considered comprehensive colleges. I don't know how it got started, but it did. And somehow or another, that label has continued to stick. We've also tried in our publications to always indicate Medgar Evers College a senior institution in the City University of New York. Because there are still some people, even in this city, who do not know that we are a senior college. So our publications so denote that language so that there will be no mistake about who we are. I'm pleased to say that the new chancellor, Dr. Matthew Goldston, has been, in the 1 year that he has been chancellor, a great supporter of this institution. In fact, this college has received more support in the 1 year of his tenure than for me the 10 years that I was serving under the leadership of other chancellors. He put the money where his mouth was and is. We have received more support from this Board of Trustees in 18 months than we have received in 20 years. So in terms of support, the future bodes well, it seems to me, in terms of support from the university. We have a tremendous challenge facing us, and there is a shift in paradigm from the Board of Trustees to each campus, with a greater emphasis on accountability, 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 and accountability. If any institution in the City University of New York thinks that it can continue to operate in the manner in which it had operated in the past, they face a rude awakening in terms of what are the expectations that this new board has for this university. For the first time in my tenure at this university, the university has established university-wide goals and objectives, and each campus has had to develop a set of goals and objectives to meet the university-wide objectives. And presidents will be evaluated based upon how well your respective campus has met the objectives that were established, in this case mutually established by the chancellor and the respective president. So at the end of the year, we will have to develop a progress report in terms of how well we have done. And that is, how well have we done what we said we would do? How well are we doing what we say that we would do? That's the question that Bill States asks. They don't tell us what to do. They say, you define for your institution who you are and what you are going to do. And what they do then is to come in and to evaluate and assess how well we do this. Medgar Evers College can become the capstone of knowledge in this community, the city, and the nation. But the only thing that will hold us back will be the quality and expansiveness of our vision and our commitment to change and movement forward. This week marks the beginning of my 12th year as president of Medgar Evers College. If anyone had told me in September of 1989 that I would be standing before you stating that this is the beginning of the 12th year, I would have said to them that perhaps they were smoking some funny stuff. I came with the notion that, that one should spend 5 to 7 years as president and then do some other things, whatever that, do some other things ought to be. Because I believe the institutions have life cycles. And I've been able to observe 2 life cycles, and the third one is emerging. Some of you have heard the rumor that I am retired, and many of you have become preoccupied with that movement and who the successor will be. Let me share with you a story that I think will shed some light on that decision. In the South, in the Baptist church, when they, in a time when they didn't have air conditioning, and so the windows are all open, so hopefully you get a breeze, and you got fans going because it's hot. This is summer. So they had a guest preacher, and he was on the stage. The spirit was high, and he was ready to go preach. So he gets up to wants them to speak. And a breeze comes through the window, and his text goes out of the window. And he says, my dear Christian brothers and sisters, when I came here, only God and I knew what I was going to say. And now, God only knows. I don't know when it will be. I don't know. I have to let the Spirit move me. And when I think I've done all that I want to do and need to do, then I will make that decision. It is nice to know that the Chancellor wants me to stay and would do anything he could to keep me here, but I have my own, that's too long. But I want to let you know that while I'm here, I will leave this institution. There's only one president, and everyone needs to understand that. You also need to understand that none of you shall sell your soul for the future. There is no guarantee that anyone you think will become the successor. I say to you, only God knows. So we need not be preoccupied with when is Jackson going to leave. When Jackson decides to leave, you will be the first to know. I'll send a letter out to every one of you. The fact of the matter is, as long as I am here, I will be the president. I will be the president. Now, I have outlined a role and responsibility for my cabinet officers and the senior provost, senior vice president, and the provost. And I think we understand our responsibilities. And I think that my cabinet officer understands their responsibility. And I also say that if you step on the line, I will deal with you. Okay? We need to be very clear on that. Now, I could leave today and can retire and go back to Virginia, my 10-room house, and I don't drink mint juleps anymore because I'm a man of the cloth, but could very well be on Potomac, looking out. But I've chosen to stay, to extend my stay, I should say, because I want to do some things. Now, all of you know that we've talked about and have experienced over the years a structural deficit in our budget. Every year, except one year, we ended up in the red. And after our status was changed, returned to senior college, it became even a more of a problem. It preceded my coming here, and I wanted to make sure that MEC had a reasonable budget for the future. Thanks be to God that Matt Goldstein thought it not robbery to add to our base budget $1.48 million with a 2-year plan, with the second year making us completely whole. If the truth be told, I didn't have to argue for this. He knew that was an objective that I had, and he was trying to make sure that I didn't exit stage right. So he said, here's what you'll do, Edison. He did it. I got a letter from him in May, and I said, oh God, what is this? Because a lot of presidents got letters. And the letter said, we're going to check from your budget this year a portion of your deficit from last year. The second piece. I would like to see the academic complex 1 started. I said in, I didn't know the organization after that. Started. Why? If we do achieve it, it's because of relationships, not because someone feels it's appropriate to do it for MEDGA. You got to understand that all that has happened at this university in terms of building programs for campuses has been because of relationships. And I want to thank VP Taylor. He has been an outstanding supporter and opening the doors and making the way and sitting in dry meetings. And when he needs me, I come in and act like a fool. I really don't, but I really, you know, I have to express myself sometimes about their value to think out of the box. And were it not for his work, I could not do what I'm able to do this morning. It is also the credit I must give to VP Taylor, because it was not by happenstance that he was working behind the scenes to make sure we got $1.8 million. He blew a chance to say, go to the guys in the Vice Chancellor's office to do that. And that is hopefully what any Vice President administration will be able to do, but he has achieved that. When Professor Fitzgerald talked about new monies for technology, the $1 million plus, this is the man who did it. Now, what happens is talk about building relationships. Building relationships. And that's why they call that's why we call the management a team. You see, and every one of these individuals has very special talents and experiences. And as a team, we're able to move the agenda. Now, I've been arguing about Carroll Street. We had a meeting last week with Grusom and Sempton, the architectural firm. And VP Taylor indicated that I need to be at the table at this point. And I came to the table. And we had a great time there. I said nothing for an hour, and VP Taylor was the lead. Because I knew where they wanted to go, and that was to renovate Carroll Street, but no capacity to grow. And I think we've won that argument in terms of that. Because the notion is, the way they were going, let's keep the portables over there. We said, no, we're not going to have it. And I said to them, if you can't deliver, then I'll find someone else who can. That's my attitude. And I can take that position now because I can go and be comfortable at home. Okay? And so when you don't have any fear of your position, then you can truly fight for the institution and for the community. And so we have a strategy to move that piece of agenda. Now while we are doing that, the provost is on campus moving the academic agenda. So that continues to move forward in a mighty and powerful way. And I could go on and on, but I want you to understand that the property next door, 3Bs, bowling alley, the nice little house that they renovated over here, and I don't want them to tear that down because I like for that, once they build the new building, to be the our resident that we have scholars come in, they can be right here on the campus. Because if you don't know, the whole Crown Street is supposed to be a pedestrian mall. And now we begin the process of doing the environmental impact study so that we can purchase the sanitation garage because they're moving out. So as of end of this week, we will have title to that property as I've been assured. And that's been a long saga for those of you who've been around. Again, relationships. There was somebody who didn't want to give us the money, and because of the relationship that I had, they got the people to give the money. Now, I'm trying to tell you something. You never know when you meet a person whether or not you will need them down the road. And I practice this, I have this practice that you never burn any bridges. You be nice when sometimes you're gritting your teeth. And there's some luxuries I cannot experience because I'm the leader. And whatever I say becomes Medgar Evers. So sometimes I have to bite my tongue even though I want to say, oh. But in the end, it's paying off. And I'm talking about the sacredness of this institution, divine intervention. In this auditorium, I guess 5-6 years ago, when the mayor first got elected, and he decided that he thought that they decided they were going to come here to Medgar to have his first town hall meeting. And I said to them, what do I have to do? They said, nothing, President Jackson, nothing. I said, good, then you can have the facility. You know, that's not a problem for me. The day before, I get a call. President Jackson, would you introduce the mayor? And I said to myself, you know, knowing that this is the first time and people are still angry about the Mayor Diggins losing, and I said, what am I going to do? Dr. Withers, would you? I'm not going to play up my suit. Not today. What happened was, I did a marvelous job of introducing the mayor. It was on paper. I wasn't lying. But I had this ability to deliver. And they said to me that was the best introduction the mayor has ever had. And from that day on, I got appointed to Commission on Human Rights, the Youth Board. One I didn't like was the one for the Task Force on Police Brutality. And on and on and on. What I'm trying to say to you is, it was divine providence. Because if I had my way, I probably would not have been down enough to say, except to say, welcome to Medgar Evers College, and screw out here if I could. But relationships, and part of what all of us ought to be about is building relationships, building bridges, that we're going to make this place a better place. So, My objective, another piece of my larger objective, to see the groundbreaking of Academic Complex 1. And DPTL and I are working like I don't know what to get a new building we call Academic Complex 1A over on Bowling Alley. Because I know that they say to me, well, President Jackson, we got a master plan, and you're going to get a new library and 2 new other academic complexes. I said, hush your mouth. The reality is it is, in terms of political will in this city and this state and nation, we're not going to get $200 million in construction money. So let's be real. Don't sell me something that I know is impossible for you to deliver down the road. So our grand plan is basically Academic Complex 1, $62 million facility. Renovation of Carroll Street, $32 million. And a modular building that's you wouldn't know it's a modular building except you would see it constructed. That would be roughly, I think, $16 million or thereabouts. And that is where I want to spend my energy and time, so that future generations will be able to have a facility that is comparable to other campuses within the university. So that we don't have students saying that MEC is like a high school, or my high school has more facilities than MEC. But in spite of that, we are doing well in terms of enrollment. And it's been a struggle in terms of our achievement and our enrollment. All of our campuses, or most of our campuses, are down in enrollment. In fact, the university did something this year that's unprecedented, and that is the University Processing Office, Admissions Office, Admissions Services is extending their processing period to get all the people who are in the system out of the system. Registered as of today, 4,603 students. Last year, about a roughly similar period of time, we had 4,488 students. Last year, we had 3,052 students who were continuing registered. This year, this fall, we are up with 3,109. First time freshmen last year was 707. As of today, as of last night, that is, we're 546, and there are some, maybe 100 students in the pipeline. I'm not sure, but I see Dr. Gibson's hand. That's pretty close. Transfers, 290 this year. Last year, 249. Transfer admissions across the university is down. Ladies and gentlemen, MEC is up. Readmits, 408 last year. This is after registration is over with, I'm talking about. 520 readmits. Now the question is, and Dr. Withers in her study said roughly 50% of the readmits become attrition casualty the next semester. And why is that? We do absolutely nothing with or for them when they return. So whatever challenges they encountered previously, there's a good likelihood that they are encounter similar. So here's what I want done. registrar office, the registrar in particular, to have the computer center generate a listing by major and school with their transcripts. And depending upon where they are, I want the faculty and the deans to develop a process, a program for your school to ensure that those students get connected or reconnected to the institution so that they won't become attrition casualties. Why am I doing this? One of the indicators that we will be measured by next year will be retention. And by the end of the year, there will be a new budget model that will fund institutions that have the best retention rates. Transfer students, what do we do with them now? We have a transfer orientation and they are kind of dumped into the institution. I want to change that. I want the same process. And what we want to do at the end of the semester is ask the schools to give us a report on what you have done with these students. Because it is very, very important that we retain those students. You see, the admissions office and recruitment office, they have to spend a lot of time and money calling up these students that when you come back to Medgar Evers, they say, yes, I'm coming back. Then a few of them say, oh, it's the same as it was when I left here, so I'm up and out. One of the differences we can make is the change in terms of how we treat students and what we do. Let me move on. Dr. Withers and her office, her colleagues, have put together snapshots. This document disabuses some of us in terms of motions and issues that we have. What is interesting is 90% of our students, I believe is correct, are U.S. citizens. I said 90%. The largest foreign-born population, Jamaica first, Trinidad second. Guess what? Our female population is exploding. 78%. When I came here, it was 72. Now, it's not just a phenomenon here at Medgar Evers. All over the nation, irrespective of race, there is a decline in the college-going rate of males. Of the 600 students that came to orientation this fall semester, if there were 40 male students in the audience, that was a lot. 40 out of 600, ladies and gentlemen. We have to do something different and create a new paradigm so that people who say they can't do anything about this phenomenon will be able to do something. And here's an opportunity for us to be on the cutting edge of retention, particularly for male students, minority male students. Because if we don't do that, our daughters won't have any men to marry. And when we don't have a unit, then we may cease to live in the way as a people that we have historically lived. And if an institution like Medgar Evers does not do something about this, or try to at least, then who will? I have some strategies that I want to incorporate. Let me say to the Department of Education and share with the colleagues that they have made substantial progress in terms of those students who have sat for the NICE exam. Last year, I think it was at 41% a year ago. The last state report, 67, I believe, in LAST, and 74% on the HESW. Major improvement. I want to thank Dean Shudra, Dr. Giddens, and her colleagues for standing tall and making very difficult decisions so that we could improve our success rates. I know that students are complaining, but it's like when my mother used to give me Castro and say it's good for you. Because we know if we give them the skills and demand that they acquire those skills, they can succeed. And we don't want to produce graduates who leave Medgar Evers and go and enter the teaching profession and to create mediocrity across the board. We want our graduates to be able to do great things. Dr. Louise Giddens is the new chair of the Education Department. Dr. Rivera is the chair of the LLP. Dr. Sheila Myers-Johnson is chair of the Interdisciplinary Studies Department. And congratulations to all of you for your election to this most important position. Our new members of the cabinet, they are Mr. Vincent Van Ray, who is the Vice President of Student Affairs here at Medgar Evers. He comes from LaGuardia Community College. He's a graduate of LaGuardia. CUNY a master's from Baruch, and a doctoral candidate at NYU in higher education administration. He is a seasoned administrator. He works well with students. He's done some things at LaGuardia that was very difficult. I said, York, wow. LaGuardia, that is magnificent, masterful, and getting students involved and getting faculty involved in the life of students. So he comes to us ready to do the job, and I'm just delighted that he's kind enough to join us because he has some choices. Professor Michael Fitzgerald has consented to become our assistant provost for technology and all that he talked about. And I'm just delighted that, Mike, that you have consented. We are going places. We have resources to do that, and I think it is in good hands. And the provost and I were kind of joking about, to whom does Michael report? And I said, to you, because he has a keen interest and knowledge of media and technology and so forth. And I believe that's the most appropriate place for him to report. And Michael, we still a part of when we need to have policy kinds of meetings, we do that. But in terms of positioning an institution, that's a resource that ought to be under the auspices of the Office of Active Affairs. And we made that shift and transfer, and we are pleased that that has taken place. Mr. Richard Jones is now full dean here at MEC. Most of you know that Richard chaired for me the retention task force, and you have a report in your that you have been given. And I'm quite impressed with the recommendations. We don't have time to go through all of those, but I just want to let all of you know that we will be implementing many of the recommendations. The committee will continue, and out of that, I know we already have talked about an institutional assessment committee that will be constituted to move some of the issues there. Let me say this to you. There is no reason in the world why you as faculty members need to come back in August or in January to do what I call bullpen advisement. It makes no sense. No sense. And we have to, and I'm going to insist that we do something different this year. You know, those of us who came in August and had hot weather in the gym or the air conditioning on its way. The money's there. They had a problem with the new roof, so we had to delay. But the money's there, so next year we'll have an air conditioner. But I hope that we won't have to be there. Most of our programs, we don't need to be in the gym advising folks. That is, to me, is a waste of your time. I'm serious about that. You have to use that time mentoring students, talking to them about the profession and what it means to be a psychologist or a teacher or accountant and etc. We have phone registration now is here. So students can dial up. Sit at home and do that, and thanks to leadership of Mr. Haywood Edwards and company. So all those who are involved, that you want to stand, please, because that's important. That's a major, major accomplishment. Every student now has email address. And we did that through the registration process, so we're not really getting a list. So if you need to email your students, do that. The problem is for me is I get emails from them. And as a president, you get more than you need to get. And thanks that Fontaine Davis is serving my chief of staff, because I don't know what I would do in terms of that. But I found I really get some interesting email from students. And I know a whole lot about what you are not doing and what you are doing. So I don't have to hold a forum with students any longer, because I give them a call, email me. And they do. I was glad to get an email from a student the other day, and Dr. Giddens, I guess she got the note. And the student said, you know, sometimes we complain, but everything bad. We simply want to talk about, to let you know that you have some fine faculty members in teacher education. And although there are challenges, we appreciate them because they care about us. And I wrote her back, emailed back saying, you know, thank you, you made my day. Because we generally get we always get the negative, boy, I got a problem that I can't deal with. Chairpersons, deal with your colleagues when they're wrong. If there's a grade dispute, don't just send them all around everywhere, and you know that the adjunct faculty member is not going to be there anyway. Some of them don't show up on time for classes. See, those kind of tactics, you drive students away. So don't give them run around. If you're afraid to deal with your colleagues, then share it with your dean and on up the line. If they're afraid to deal with it, then the provost. And if he's afraid to deal with me. Maybe I'll stop it. Maybe I'm afraid to deal with it too, so I go to the chancellor. But look, we have the student alert. And students use that mechanism to try to get some problems resolved. And we get notes from them saying, thank you, but we have a policy, 48 hours, get a response. And it is one of the best invention and creation that we could have done, because it gives the student a sense of power, a sense of empowerment. So encourage your students. They have problems. Maybe they're doing great with you in your class, but they're having some problems, whether it's financial aid or any other issue. Just deal with it. Dr. Eric Hilton is our new director of admissions. Dr. Hilton. He brings with him a wealth of knowledge. He was with Lucent Technologies, working with colleges and universities in terms of technology, but he did his dissertation on the characteristics of admissions directors, and he served as admissions director, etc. Brings with him a wealth of knowledge, so he can hit the ground running and do some mighty great things for us. So Greg Thomas is the executive deputy to the vice president of student affairs. He's also a doctoral candidate at NYU. You don't want any more from NYU. That's a joke. In fact, I sit on one of the board members on that doctoral program, so I know it's a strong program. Greg, please. New faculty members. Professor Lorraine Hosea, education. I want to say personally to Professor Hosea, thank you so much for what you've done in working with our students. I commended the faculty and Dr. Giddens this morning for the foresight and the time they took in selecting you. And you have been a blessing to our institution and to the education department. So thank you. Stay the course. Professor Claudia Schrader, education. Dr. Colleen Clay, education. Dr. Asumi Maiga, education. Professor Carlton Lula, in the library. Professor Clover Steele, library. Dr. Wash Asante, mass communication, creative performing arts, and the first holder of the Betty Chavez chair. My goodness. She's convalescing at the moment, but she will be here, and she's a great scholar. The holder of two Fulbright scholarships, and a great publication, a renowned person in her own right, and we consider a privilege to have her as part of the faculty. Professor Lynn McMillan, you all know him. He just got back from a tour. I guess he's still touring, huh? Professor Winston Huggins, Mass Communication, Creative Performing Arts. Professor Raymond Thomas, Mathematics. Professor Terrence Lackman, Mathematics. Professor Alex Bochang, Language, Literature, and Philosophy. Professor Linda Jackson, Language, Literature, and Philosophy. Professor Edward Knox, Business Administration. And Professor Monica Goodrich, Nursing. There are a few other new appointments that we've done. Nursing, we have, I don't have that list right now, but we have new colleagues joining us in that department. New degree programs. Mathematical science starts this fall. Professor Wilson, your colleagues, great job. This afternoon, we appeared before the Capital Committee, and that's the Academic Affairs Committee. Our new degree program in Computer Information Systems will be considered, and I do expect it to pass. I would say to Professor Asala, the MEC, and their colleagues, less than 1 year, they did it. Less than 1 year. That's excellent. They have another degree that's Business and Professional Studies, is at the central office being considered. I hope that it will be ready for consideration by the Board of Trustees for its October meeting. My hands off to all of you for that. That will be 4 environmental science, mathematics, computer information systems, and professional studies. At the central office for consideration, a letter of intent for the language and literature department, and a letter of intent for the world studies and sub-disciplines from the Department of Interdisciplinary Studies. We would hope that by the end of this academic year, that all of those programs will be approved, and we'll end up then with roughly about 15 or 16 baccalaureate degree programs. And I think it will give us the kind of, and the last one we expect to see is a bachelor's degree from Dr. Moon's Department of Mass Communications, Performing Arts and Creative Arts and Speech. That will kind of round out our degree programs. We might want to consider Dr. Leon Johnson, a degree program, bachelor's in telecommunications in that area. I spoke to the Chancellor yesterday, and he was intrigued with the fact that we were moving forward in this direction in terms of technology and science and et cetera, and indicated his support for that. So I want to thank the faculty and Associate Provost Joyce King for your leadership and making this happen, because it would not happen without your leadership, and we thank you for that. Dr. Nancy Odie, someday soon you will have a new psychology lab. They will be starting construction, if they haven't already started, very shortly. In addition to that, we have the money to buy the furniture and equipment. So we won't have just a shell, but we will have the equipment so that you can continue to find work that you have done over the years and working with our students. So we thank you for that. I have declared, this is one of the presidential declaration, that the Department of Biology is at a state where it ought to be considered as our first center of excellence. Dr. has been a great chairperson and has attracted outstanding faculty. And they have done an outstanding job in working with our students and helping them to grow. We have 2 students who are going to be recognized in Washington, and I want to talk about Dean Brown in a second, but I want to do a hold in, right? Wholeness, that's right, thank you. Dr. Williams must have taught him. Graduate from MEC, a master's from Albert Einstein Medical, PhD from that same NYU. At the same time, did a law degree. Okay, 4. We have another young man who's been honored in Washington, graduated from medical, has had a fellowship, neurobiology, is that correct? Master's from from City, and will be entering the PhD program at Columbia in this field. And that's just a smattering of, they could name many more in terms of medical school and dental school and et cetera. In some ways, we gave each other another sister institution with SUNY downstate in terms of guaranteed admission to the medical school. I won't tell you what college we got the picture, but we did it. Dr. Catapane, I really want to say to you, did he leave?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you went. That really that I'm indebted to you, we're all indebted to you for helping to make this happen. They just received a $400,000 grant from NIH, competitive with Kingsborough as a partner, as well as the C-STEP program being renewed. Dr. Egby and VP Oliver just received a $400,000 grant from HUD, and that's difficult to do. And so we are very pleased with that. Dr. Shudra, in terms of the NOW program, how much money did you? College Land. And they moved that agenda, even though it was difficult and other institutions had gotten involved before we did, but they made it, they have been real successful. Dr. Karan has been the person who's developed a major initiative in terms of research. And I just want to thank her and for putting us on the map nationally in that regard. I know that some of you have passes. I'm going to review in a second. There are many challenges that we face. We cannot continue as business as usual if we expect to be successful. The paradigm has shifted at the central office. And to that end, we have to shift with them or else we'll be out of sync. And we then cannot expect the Board of Trustees and the Chancellor and others to be supportive of us if we are out of sync with what the head is doing. We have some major challenges. We have to increase retention. We have to increase graduation rates. The core curriculum needs to be complete in terms of that review and so that we can move that agenda. The expansiveness of the assessment program in terms of becoming a way of life at Medgar Evers College. And I want to thank Dr. Withers and her colleagues for moving that whole agenda and making that happen. Well, we like it or not, the universities, now that we got all of us on their system, they can pull up any data they want from our individual campuses. And when we see it, it may be not look so nice. We need to develop a process that students who come in through the baccalaureate degree after 1 year and a certain number of credits, they can then change their degree code to a bachelor's degree. It makes more sense. I'm afraid if we don't do this, that someone down the road, year 2, 3, 4, will look at our distribution of students. Got a chance to ask me that question yesterday. He asked me, Edison, what's your distribution of associate and baccalaureate students in college? So I told him about my idea and process. I know what the numbers are, but I didn't want to give those numbers out really. Because the question someone raising, why are you a senior college? And the policy provides for us after, I think it's 45 credits or thereabout, Dr. Gibbons, I'm not sure, but in that range. 33? Okay. He said, that's why he said 1 year. To move into the baccalaureate degree program. We can still get associate degrees at the end of that period. That increases our graduation rates, but it gives us a different mix in the end, so that when they look at our distribution, besides you get more money for baccalaureate degree programs and majors than you do associate degrees. So it's in our South and Light best interest to do that. And I would ask that we would take that on as a challenge. We need to continue to create centers of excellence. And we need to continue to attract new outstanding faculty members to MEC, and I'm very pleased with what we have been able to do. I've talked about we need to strengthen our advising program at MEC, and we need to continue to strengthen our technology resources both materially and in human form. It's going to be a great year. I just claim the great year. And that's how I operate. It's going to be a great year. With the team we have in place, with the new faculty members we have in place, with the chairpersons we have in place, with the deans we have in place, with the cabinet officers we have in place, there is no reason why we are not to not win. And not just win, but win in a mighty way. This community deserves our best. And every day I'm seeing more and more developments from the faculty and from our students and from staff and administration. And that is because you are very special. You're special because you chose to come to MEC Edwards. You had other choices, but you chose to come to MEC. Or you've chosen to stay at MEC Edwards. And through that effort, we will become an even greater place. And I could go on about people like Gail Gibson up here, who's done an outstanding job in terms of leading the freshman year program. Some of the version program, we have a pass rate in mathematics of 85%. 85%, ladies and gentlemen. They said it couldn't be done, but they've done it. And so, Dr. Campaign, because you have been so cited as your department as first center of excellence, I am now hereby appropriating to D.B. Taylor $20,000 addition to your budget. And it's through the Research Foundation, so you won't see it through the tax levy budget as well, okay? And that way D.B. Taylor can't get his hands on it. Only I can do that. You may use it for faculty travel to conferences, publications, membership, whatever you wish to, other than putting it in your pocket. I really do, and I'm saying this from the heart, that if we say we appreciate people, we ought to try to do something that's a tangible way to say we appreciate you other than just words. For words are easy. I didn't get to the 30th year anniversary celebration that we're going to have, and it's going to be a great year. I'm talking about 30 years of celebration. Dean John Flatteau has put together a committee. We are meeting on Friday to kick off, and it's just going to be a great year in terms of celebration. I mean, 30 years. I mean, that's marvelous. And I just want to, and we have two major events. One we expect to be at the Brooklyn Museum in the Rotunda, that's the third floor somewhere. That's a beautiful place. And the Biggie at the United Nations. Since we are on the international scene, we want to host it in that environment. So we think big. We think big. And that's the only way you're going to win, by thinking big. You think small, that's what you end up with. See, I tell students here when they come to Medgar, if someone asks you what college you go to, they say, Medgar is where else? There's no other place better than Medgar. And that's what we want to say. And that's what we want to say all the time at Medgar. Medgar is not a panacea. It's not the greatest place sometimes. But the fact of the matter is, it's our place. It's our place. You go somewhere else and see how you fare. At least in this place, we are in control we want to be. And I just make the point. The chairman of the committee, board committee, yesterday said that there will be 7 colleges that will receive letters saying that they lack diversity on their campuses. And I'm not going to leave them. But we were not one of those. And when I presented the Vice President Dan Ray, I said, beyond his competence, we got another plus, that he is Puerto Rican. And he speaks Spanish. That is, he has lost his heritage in connection to his heritage, and he's proud of that heritage and the mixture from which he come. And so when I said that, the board member said, yes, yes, yes. And I was so glad because I just kind of said, in the spirit of diversity. And I was so glad because I didn't want Medgar to be mentioned as the place that lacked diversity. But they're very serious. And so I was very pleased with that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited about Medgar. And I still get up every morning excited and happy to come to the campus. And I decided with myself that when I get tired of coming, then I'm going to leave. But I don't want to just exist, but I want to do something good. I went to a funeral last night for Irvin Francois. In June, Francois probably didn't know that he would make the transition. And none of us know when. What was nice last night was that I could get up and to say some words of comfort, and they were true. And other colleagues from the family here did likewise, because it was the truth. So he left a legacy of love, a legacy of caring. And so his spirit will continue to live on in Medgar Evers because he touched so many lives. And we ought to be about the business of wanting to touch some lives in a positive way. Because we never know when we're going to make the transition. And I just think that Medgar is so special that we ought to take on this mantle with a sense that it is a mission. Because it is. Because if we don't help the students who come to Medgar, where are they going to go? And who will help them? So I encourage you. I embrace what you are doing and say to you that you are in good hands with the team. And in this case, it's Jackson team. I know that, one of the things I told my wife, I said, I'm concluding, I said, one of the things one needs to do is to try to leave when the majority of people want you to stay. Now, if everybody wants you to stay, there's something wrong with what you're doing. Seriously. Because if you don't have any opposition, then there's something wrong with what you're doing. But if the majority of people want to go and follow your leadership, that's all you can ask for. It's almost more than you can ask for. There are great pockets all through this institution. Center for Law and Social Justice in terms of what they do. Charms area. And all of you, I know I missed some, but nevertheless, you're great. Have a good year. You have ideas? Email me. If you just want to say hello, email me. It's nice coming in office at 7:30 in the morning. You get an email saying, just hello, Mr. President. Hello, Edison. Just have a good day. Thank you very much, and God bless.